December 7, 1941. A date which will live 41. A date which will live in infamy. In less than 2 hours, the Imperial Japanese Navy unleashed a storm of fire upon the American Pacific Fleet at Pearl Harbor. Over 2,400 Americans perished. The history books tell us it was a brilliant, unprovoked surprise attack. A sneak attack that dragged a reluctant America into the Second World War. But what if the history books only tell half the story? What if the attack was not a surprise to the highest levels of the United States government, but a carefully orchestrated sacrifice?
For decades, investigators and whistleblowers have unearthed a trail of ignored warnings, deciphered codes, and top-secret memos that point to a chilling conspiracy. Was the Pacific Fleet intentionally left vulnerable, as bait?
Today, we dive into the untold mystery of Pearl Harbor to uncover whether it was a colossal military blunder or a calculated day of deceit.
This was the plan all along.
To understand the mystery, we must go back over a year before the bombs fell. One of the key points in this memo was to keep the main strength of the U.S. Pacific Fleet anchored in the exposed waters of Hawaii. Admiral J.O. Richardson, the fleet's commander at the time, fiercely protested moving the ships from California to Pearl Harbor. Look at this line, arguing it was a dangerously vulnerable position. We must pull back.
No, we hold. If we move, the whole line collapses.
Why? President Franklin D. Roosevelt desperately wanted to aid Britain in the war against Nazi Germany, but the American public was overwhelmingly against entering another European war.
1940. As war engulfs Europe, America watches. The nation demands neutrality. Stay out of Europe. That is the cry across the land.
The McCollum Memo explicitly stated, if by these means Japan could be led to commit an overt act of war, so much the better. One of the key points in this memo was to keep the main strength of the U.S. Pacific Fleet anchored in the exposed waters of Hawaii. Admiral J.O. Richardson, the fleet's commander at the time, fiercely protested moving the ships from California to Pearl Harbor. This position is indefensible, arguing it was a dangerously vulnerable position. We are risking the entire operation. I must strongly disagree. One of the key points in this memo was to keep the main strength of the U.S. Pacific Fleet anchored in the exposed waters of Hawaii. Admiral J.O. Richardson, the fleet's commander at the time, fiercely protested moving the ships from California to Pearl Harbor, arguing it was a dangerously vulnerable position.
The official narrative claims America was blind to Japan's intentions. Yet, American intelligence had already cracked the Japanese diplomatic code, known as Purple. In September 1941, Washington intercepted the bomb plot message. Japanese naval intelligence was demanding precise grid locations of the warships anchored at Pearl Harbor.
Even more chilling is the testimony of Don Smith, the director of the War Service for the Red Cross. Shortly before the attack, President Roosevelt secretly called Smith to the White House. According to Smith's family, the president informed him of a pending Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, anticipating many casualties and much loss. Smith was ordered to secretly rush $50,000 worth of vital medical supplies and drugs to Hawaii. He was strictly ordered not to inform the military commanders on the island. The administration knew the blood would spill, and they were quietly preparing the bandages. As December approached, the tension reached a breaking point. Suddenly, just days before the attack, the Navy's most valuable assets, the guise of delivering aircraft to Midway, only the aging battleships remained at anchor. By the morning of December 7th, the only ships left were the aging, slow battleships. On the night of December 6th, Washington intercepted a 14-part Japanese diplomatic message.
Upon reading it, President Roosevelt reportedly turned to his advisor and said, "This means war." Yet, no urgent warning was sent to Hawaii. When he finally sent a warning to Hawaii, he chose to send it via commercial Western Union telegram instead of using the secure, direct military phone line. The next morning, as the Japanese attack fleet closed in, General Marshall was allegedly out for a leisurely horseback ride.
The warning arrived hours after the bombs had already destroyed the fleet. But the ultimate tragedy of Pearl Harbor is that the men on the ground did see it coming, and they were ignored.
History tells us Japan fired the first shot. They did not.
At 6:45 a.m., over an hour before the aerial assault, the American destroyer USS Ward spotted a Japanese midget submarine attempting to sneak into the harbor.
The Ward opened fire, sinking the sub, and immediately radioed Naval Command.
We have attacked, fired upon, and dropped depth charges on a submarine.
The warning fell on deaf ears. The fleet was not put on high alert. Minutes later, at 7:02 a.m., Privates Elliott and Lockard at the Opana radar station saw a massive anomaly on their glowing green screen. It was a blip so large they thought the machine was broken. It was the first wave of 181 Japanese warplanes.
We have a large blip!
They frantically called the intercept center, but an inexperienced officer, Lieutenant Tyler, assumed it was a flight of friendly American B-17. His response to the terrified radar operators? Don't worry about it. When the smoke cleared, the American public was outraged and demanded answers. Both commanders were accused of dereliction of duty, publicly humiliated and stripped of their ranks. The government needed someone to blame, and they found their perfect scapegoats, the admiral, and the general. They spent the rest of their lives fighting to clear their names, arguing that Washington had deliberately kept them in the dark. Today, historians and military experts still fiercely debate the truth. Was the disaster at Pearl Harbor the result of tragic incompetence and ignored radars? Or was it a masterful, cold-blooded decision to sacrifice the Pacific Fleet, ensuring the American public would support entering the bloodiest war in human history? The untold mystery remains. What do you believe? If you found this untold history fascinating, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell notification so you never miss an investigation. Till next time, keep questioning history.